Hi, Pegasus, Chris's class and Sophie's class. This is Mr. Michael from Crestmont, and I'm here with my amazing neighbors, Yana and her daughter, Elizabeth.
Hi guys.
Hello.
You know, I'm fortunate enough to live next to them, and they have bees which provide honey. And they give me honey from time to time. So they're going to go ahead and tell us a little bit about their beehive and what they do as beekeepers. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys are staying safe and sheltering in place. All right, take it away.
Go ahead, Ellie.
Thank you so much for letting us have an opportunity to give you information on bees. Bees are very important. They provide us with many fruits and vegetables that we are able to enjoy and would not be here if they weren't here, such as apples, pears, plums, peaches, including vegetables like cucumbers, zucchini, and nuts like almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts, and a lot more. They also provide a really great sweetener, which can be used in place as sugar and is much healthier. Can be used as medicine, can be used just for plain eating. It's honey, and it is very healthy. So let's get going on an inspection of the hive.
Okay, and so that process that they help with the vegetables is called pollination?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now we're coming over to the hive.
And today is a nice, beautiful day, so there's lots of them flying.
Okay.
So here's the top of the hive that we use to, like a roof, basically.
Right.
And
You want to show us one of the frames in there?
yeah. Oh, looks like they're moving into this top part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dressed in overalls on a hot day. Ooh.
So here's one of the top frames. As you can see, there's a lot of honey there starting. A couple weeks ago we checked here and they actually weren't here yet. So these guys are really working fast. I'm going to take one frame out so that I have space to move the rest of the frames and to check on them.
Tell us more about bee cycle. What happens when the queen lays an egg?
So in every hive there's one queen, and she goes around laying eggs, and
More honey.
yeah, a lot more honey, and she goes and lays these eggs in these little
Cells?
yeah, cells we call them, and they're very, very small, so they're very hard to find, but she does lay them. And here's more honey.
This honey is not capped yet, so there's no lid yet.
Yeah. And so she lays these eggs, and they take 21 days to fully develop into bees. So they are fed for the first few days something called royal jelly, which the bees make, and it's very high in nutrients that the eggs need to become larvae. And then afterwards they're fed just regular honey. And then once they hatch out of the cell, they are full-grown bees, and they start working for the colony.
And their first job is clean after themselves in their little bedroom.
And they go out pollinating flowers. So they go to one flower and they'll walk on it, and then they'll go to another flower, and the pollen from the flower before goes onto the flower that they're on now. And that's how the flower gets fertilized, and its genetic information gets combined, more complex, better for when a disease comes, or if something happens where the plant could potentially not survive. That's how these plants get fertilized, by the bees putting pollen from other flowers on other flowers. So now we're coming to the part right underneath the part that I just inspected. And this is what's called a queen excluder, where it excludes the queen from going up to the top parts, and that's how we beekeepers can get the honey out without killing the queen on accident, or without having eggs in the frame as well as the honey, because if there's eggs in the frame, then we can't really have honey. So here's the more busy section. We call this brood, which is the eggs, the larvae that are going to be workers soon. If you can see, some workers are actually feeding the larvae that aren't covered.
Right here, that is a not finished drone yet. Drones kind of stick out. That's a male bee.
Okay.
So all of these bees that you see are female bees. Those are all the workers.
Okay.
The
Those are the
male,
ones.
and there may be 20, 30, 40,000 of them in each hive depending on their strength. And then they have a few hundred drones that they keep around in case something happens to the queen and they need to make a new queen, so they would need a drone's help for that.
The drones are not the ones who do any of the pollinating. The workers, the female bees, all do that.
This is a beautifully looking frame.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we want to see. This tells us that the bees are really healthy and doing really great, which actually is the case for this hive. Fabulous. Fabulous. But there are little larvae.
Oh, see
And
here,
these
this wider one, this bigger one here, that's a drone, if you can see. They're wider, they're bigger, they have larger eyes than the workers,
Oh, this here, I see him
Yeah.
there.
and they do not have stingers.
Yana, so how long have you been beekeeping?
I come from a beekeeping family. My dad got his first hive when he was 13 years old because there was a shortage in Europe of sugar. So lots of people were keeping bees so they could cook with the honey and eat the honey. And he basically kept going back every year to take care of the bees, although we lived in a big city. And now he has about 60 to 70 hives every year. That's been happening for about 40 years.
And where is this?
This is in Czech Republic, in the
Czechoslovakia?
in the mountains.
Oh.
And so we started here maybe 3 years ago, Ellie. I put a couple of hives at my work on the roof. I work in a nursing home, and we had a beautiful roof in there, and so we made it into a nice garden and bee sanctuary. And then a couple of years ago, I believe, we brought one hive here, which is actually the one behind me, right there. And then we got a swarm, and that turned into another hive right here, the one that Ellie is working on.
And who's this little dog right here?
That's Ruby.
Okay. Is that a drone?
No, it's a bee.
Is it-
She's cute. See, she's just sitting. She's not trying to attack me or do
Yeah.
anything. She has no intention to do that. How often do they lay an egg?
We usually get 2 to 3 eggs a day, so about every 30 hours. They love worms, seeds, they love eating grass.
Do you have to have a rooster for them to lay eggs?
No. So if you do have a rooster, then they lay fertilized eggs. But
Oh.
if you don't have a rooster, they still lay eggs. They're just not fertilized.
Oh, okay. Those are the ones that we cook up for scrambled eggs.
Every morning they get this full of food. There's one with water, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And what Ellie has in her hands, those are worms and seeds and stuff that other birds like too.
Uh-huh.
And we have lots of birds coming to freeload in here.
Ah, in the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
But these are just treats.
oh, cool. Now, how old are these chickens right here?
These chickens are about
Year and a half.
year and a half.
Whoa. And you've had them since they were
since they were just born. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hatched. They love mealworms.
And they do not fly?
We clip one of their wings each so they can't jump the fence.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, they could fly enough to go over the fence. But they're not flying birds. They can't like take off like geese.
Okay. And obviously they love living here.
They look pretty healthy.
Yeah.
A little bit fat, but. Ooh.
Now, I remember when you guys first got the chickens, my cats used to come over and harass them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They don't come over anymore, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because the chickens are big enough to. They're very intimidating. Actually, this one likes to bite me a lot, and it hurts. So
But-
yeah, they can be.
But we had your cat basically wait in the tree while they were trying to be foraging underneath the tree, and the cat just descended on the chickens and freaked them out. That was funny.
Okay, so now the noise that they're making, is that kind of like purring? What is that
I
called?
guess so. 'Cause
Or is that
they-
called cooing?
Well, so they make different noises, like when they're about to lay eggs. When one of them is about to lay eggs, the others make really, really loud noises, and I think it's probably like instinctual to disturb any predators that could be around. But then they do make these noises, so I think these are noises of happiness because they
Yeah.
make them whenever they're eating.
Yeah, kind of like when a cat purrs.
Yeah.
When it's, yeah. Okay.
And their shells are quite hard, so when you want to crack that, you have to give it an extra.
Yeah.
Extra oomph.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like sometimes when we were low on these eggs, we would buy store eggs, and I would be baking and I would hit it and it would just splatter all over the counter because the shell was much softer and I was so used to
And she's
hitting
so
it hard.
Yeah. Okay, so you hear that, Pegasus? That's why it's important to do your exercises with Mr. Michael. So that you can crack those light blue and green eggs from the Americana chicken.